It's a bright morning in a New York City classroom, 1991. Taylor Gatto steps back, watching children shuffling like clockwork, lined up, eyes glazed, waiting for the bell. He's just resigned as Teacher of the Year, burned out and furious. Why has the system so shrunk their minds? What if this education is actually designed to dumb us down? Stay with me, you'll want to see how this all unravels. Gatto cracks the surface on a secret curriculum. Schools don't just teach reading and math, they train obedience. But why? Let's peek behind that curtain. In 1991, Taylor Gatto rocked the education world when he quit teaching in NYC public schools. He was named Teacher of the Year 3 times, yet he saw firsthand how classrooms prioritized control over true learning. Gatto tells us about mute, empty students, not because they're stupid, but because the system trains them to comply, not question. Imagine a factory floor where parts move predictably and efficiently. Gatto compares schools to these factories, churning out uniform workers, timed bells, prescribed tasks, and ranking systems. It's not coincidence. The system is built around obedience and standardization, crushing natural curiosity like machinery pressing flowers into a stiff shape. Here's the kicker: kids stop asking big questions. Instead, they learn that fitting in means silence, obedience, and repeating facts. Gatto says this is dumbing down by design. The system's payoff, a compliant population rather than independent thinkers. It's less about making minds and more about harnessing them. Let's dive into the damn mechanics. How exactly does school chop off the sharp edges of young minds? Gatto lays out a blueprint through gripping examples. Picture the relentless school bell, a sharp clang every 45 minutes, slicing time into little boxes. Gatto argues this trains kids to think in chunks, never long or deep. No wonder they struggle to focus beyond schedules. The bell isn't just noise, it shapes how brains work, limiting imaginative flow like a prison guard pacing steps. Gatto tells a story from his NYC school where students fought fiercely over class rank and grades. This competition wasn't healthy, it bred fear, anxiety, and even bullying. Instead of cooperation or deep learning, kids learn to outdo peers. It's like handing out trophies for survival in a maze rather than for understanding the landscape. And then there's the brutal myth of one size fits all. Standard curricula ignore how wildly different children are. Gatto watched bright kids become dummies simply because their curiosity didn't fit the timetable or test. The system teaches helplessness by stripping away personal initiative. Kids learn to wait for instructions rather than lead their own learning. But hold up, Gatto doesn't just rant. He points to what freedom in learning looks like. Changing the game isn't about fixing schools, it's about breaking out. Gatto celebrates kids who teach themselves, like a teen who learned electronics by tinkering with radios or a girl who mastered Shakespeare through local theater. When students lead their learning, passion and understanding explode. The best lessons come from hunger to solve problems, not from silent lectures. He contrasts sterile classrooms with apprenticeships and civic projects where learning happens in messy, unpredictable reality. This is like swapping a black and white TV for an IMAX experience. Textbook drills pale next to hands-on engagement with the world. Learning becomes breathing rather than blinking. Finally, Gatto stresses the power of community. When kids work with mentors, family, or clubs, they develop autonomy and genius blooms naturally. Instead of competing or obeying, they connect and create. This is education's lost soul, reclaimed in pockets by those who dare to see schooling as liberation, not limitation. Remember that morning in the NYC classroom, the glazed eyes, the forced order? Gatto shows us that education doesn't have to dull minds. Instead, try this. Give your next learning moment to curiosity without a timer or test. Follow where your questions lead. Real education begins when you unshackle yourself from the bell. Subscribe for more book summaries like this one.